Greetings and salutations, everyone. Going to try to give you all a quick overview of what we have coming with Spinistry 2.0, maybe even 3.0. Not exactly certain. Oh, it's so noisy here. We are about to go on a heck of an adventure to hopefully complete the TUBA Trail. If you're not familiar with the TUBA Trail, we've been working on this for almost a decade now, and we're almost done. It's as much unpaved, as much dirt and gravel road as possible, coast to coast across the United States. Basically from Jacksonville Beach in Florida to hopefully, we think, San Diego area, Pacific Ocean. We don't know the exact finishing spot yet. We have it all mapped and verified from Jacksonville Beach to almost all the way through Arizona. We have one short stretch of Arizona. We got turned around by the desert last time, so we didn't get scouted all the way to the Arizona state line. I think we have it worked out. So realistically, this is a California trip. The last 300 or so miles of what's going to be over a 4,000 mile route. That is the TUBA Trail. And that is the foundation of Spinistry 2.0. Don't get scared though. We're still going to be doing our normal Spinistry stuff. We're just going to incorporate it into other spots across the country along the TUBA Trail. The goal is to have TUBA Trail rideable by fall of this year, fall of 2026. So the Spinistry Mobile version 8, 10, 12, I don't know. This is core to Spinistry 2.0 for what we want to do, but what we want to encourage others to do as well. If you happen to want to get out in the middle of nowhere and do some grand adventures on your bicycle, I've always encouraged the concept of setting up a base camp, and as opposed to riding point to point, bike packing and carrying all your gear, set up a base camp and then ride your bike and just leave the tent up all day or whatever else. And what we're encouraging folks to do is what we're calling base packing. This is the base, the Spinistry mobile, and it can be a tent. You can go car camping. If you got an RV, Airstream, fantastic, come join us. Overland rig, fantastic. You want to do it the good old-fashioned way and bike pack, fantastic. The idea is we're going to pick spots along the TUBA Trail to have meetups and get-togethers and say, hey, we're going to meet here and spend a weekend there, or a long weekend, or maybe we'll spend a week going along the TUBA Trail and hitting different spots and encouraging folks to join up with us. And it lets folks accomplish a lot of things. If you don't have all the bike packing gear, you don't need it. Get what you need to sleep in a tent out of your car for a weekend. Not much to that. That's pretty easy to do for almost everyone. You have some of your bike packing gear, you can play with it there. You don't want to do any of that? Hey, take your built van and do the van life thing with us. We're building this one up a piece at a time to be a camper van, which is definitely going to get utilized that way on this trip. But also we're able to convert it to do just a regular Spinistry events rig. And the third iteration is we're going to turn this into a chuck wagon for certain events and get-togethers, where this can be our rolling cook shack. Again, we're calling it Basepacking, basepacking.com. Right now it's going to take you to our Facebook group that's being established around it. Eventually it's going to become its own thing as a part of Spinistry. It's not replacing Spinistry. So the idea is going to be, and this is where the club membership levels are really going to come into play down the road. Where it's going to really pay off on the club memberships is these multi-day adventures. That's where the titanium level membership probably going to really come into play down the road. If you're into those multi-day adventures with good food, drinking company, and all that good stuff. The idea is we're going to do one traditional Spinistry event each month, regular gravel grinder race type thing with all of the other good stuff along the way. We're going to do one, we don't know what to call them yet. Let's call them TUBA Trail Adventures, where we pick a meetup spot along the TUBA Trail We're going to do one of those each month, and that'll leave a third weekend each month, weather permitting, to do a Club Spinistry pop-up ride somewhere along the way. So your Club Spinistry membership is going to have more value than ever. We're really super stoked about this TUBA Trail and what it's going to become. We think it's something special. The route itself is really cool. I don't think there's anything else like it, nothing that I know of, and I think it's going to be a thing for a long time to come. But I recognize that not everyone is in a position where they can take 3, 4, 5, or 6 months at a time and ride the whole thing end to end. The idea of the base packing concept is we can do a lot of different things with it along the way. If people want to ride just segments here and there along the way, each month on their own, I'll knock out one state on the TUBA Trail or something like that. Doing the base packing thing allows you to travel with your spouse, your partner, your friends that may not even ride bikes themselves, but they like hanging out in the outdoors. And y'all can do the leapfrog thing where you camp one place overnight, you ride your bike for 100 miles, and they meet you at another campsite the next. As we're doing all of our meetups and get-togethers, we're putting together an amenities list of what's available where for who wants to do what sort of thing. So we're going to be collecting all of this information and make it easy for you to go out there and get an adventure. Somewhere down the road, who knows? Maybe we'll be able to take this base packing concept and make a stage race along the TUBA Trail all the way across the United States over the course of a month or two, or whatever it takes. This is definitely going to be a trip that helps us nail down what the final build on our van's going to be. We don't even have a name for it. If you have a suggestion for a name, put it in the comments below. We've done one extended trip in it, basically 2 weeks. Me and the dogs and the wife sleeping in it. Me and the dogs every night, the wife most nights. There was a couple nights when it was cold out. She opted to sleep in the big house, but it was fine for me and the dogs, even in the cold. This will be a different ball of wax. We're going to have mountains and deserts and beaches, and Lord knows what all is going to be in the mix. But we're going to talk about all the stuff that works and doesn't work, and maybe if you're interested in doing some base packing yourself and maybe starting to put together a rig, or if you already put one together and you see some mistakes we're making, let us know. We're doing it a piece at a time on a bicycle events promoters budget. Yeah, we looked at buying one complete. That's not in the budget. So we got a big old empty van. It had windows, which I like. I know most of the van lifers opt for no windows. Yeah, most places we go, there's enough privacy, and we've got some screens we can drop down if needed. Things like using pet carriers for our upper shelves at the moment, more so to test the idea of it. Now here's something though, which of these is not like the other? So this was literally our test bed. We had a pair of those and we were happy with it, and I'm thinking about building everything out permanent out of extruded aluminum, which this is 80/20 is what it's called. Light, sturdy, flexible. It's modular. You can move pieces around. You can attach other pieces to it. But here's the deal. Our test bed, not including the mattress, we'll talk about those in a minute too. Our test bed was $60, and then a piece of plywood from Home Depot, and another $20 for the piece of plywood that did both beds, and some self-tapping screws. That's what that one was. And I'm still playing with the idea of building my own out of 80/20, and I was going to. And then we found this place that supplies pre-built 80/20 pre-cut, and it's a kit. This was a $1,200 bed though. I like it a lot. And hey, they gave me a hat too. Hey, thanks Hobie at TNT Vans. So I'm not saying, but this was $1,100 less than that one, is the nuts and the bolts of it. And Like this one's modular, so it gives me flexibility to go fore and aft with the wheel well placement and things like that. But we were going to try this one, make sure it's what we wanted, and then go ahead and get that one. We'll see how this trip goes. I'm thinking I'm going to stick with the old one. I'm still interested in doing TNT products for the overhead stuff and potentially a galley, but I also this may give me answer enough of my questions about how to do it myself that maybe I can, heck, for the cost of this, I can probably make a few mistakes building my own galley. This was like $150 from Ikea, and it rattles a touch going down the road. That's why that's there right now, just so it doesn't drive me crazy going down the road. But once you're in place, it's fine. What we've found, we really don't need the sink. We can get by with a temporary pop-up sink as needed. We want the counter space, but we don't need the sink. And that's why we're trying things out to see how things work. After this trip, we're gonna have a really solid idea of what this permanent setup needs to be, but it's gonna be an ongoing project. Look at me, I'm holding up the line. And I'm gonna stop right here and we'll catch up later. A little bit later in the day and I'm back. Van wash went great. Van looks tremendously better. It was filthy. It's gonna get filthy after this trip, but that's okay. Back at the house, just starting to get things packed for the big trip and figuring out how to organize it. We got a general game plan in place, but where I left off, I believe I was talking about the beds. So there you kind of look at them at the end. You can see there's a difference in the way they're built. That one's definitely dirtier. No big deal, just dust. And it's windy as heck out today. Here's the big thing on these beds. You can see that they're Exped air mattresses. We love Exped stuff. Had some friends turn me on to Exped several years back, and if there is one primo reason to go base packing, sleeping on an Exped mattress is top of the list. These are called their Lux Mats. These are really pricey, but really worth it. It's their heavy duty air mattress wrapped in a really soft sofa cushion type cover. We just got some cheapo back mats at the moment. Again, this is all a test. We're testing things out to see what works, and what works will become permanent. What doesn't work will adjust on the fly. Kevin used to not be a camper in any way, shape, or form. My idea of camping was the Hampton Inn. And then just when we started doing some of our really cool adventures out in the middle of nowhere, particularly down around Big Bend, you get away from it all, and you got to sleep on the ground or make arrangements. There's not a Hampton Inn anywhere nearby. So I started getting into it, and it wasn't so bad, but I had the hardest time finding a mattress that I liked, and I still was not a huge fan of sleeping on the ground bike packing, but I found some decent mattresses that if I just did the base setup from a car, throw an Exped mattress down, and it's the best sleep I've ever had. It's better than the best bed I've ever had. So I'm definitely a huge fan of the Exped stuff. As we go through this, we're gonna, like I said, here's the $1,200 bed, here's the $60 bed. We'll show you high price, low price options for stuff as we play with it and get familiar with it and adjust from there. I can tell you this, Exped is something that even if you're the cheapest bastard like I typically am, it's worth the investment. Timing was pretty good on that. Mail lady just came by and dropped off our first batch of base packing stickers. So I'm gonna try to get this video out before we leave on the trip. If you happen to randomly come across us in our travels between Fort Worth and the Pacific Ocean and back in the next week and a half or so, maybe 2 weeks, we'll see how it sorts out. Lovely bride just informed me that she is officially on vacation for this. She's leaving her work computer at home. We brought the Starlink so she could work, but she decided she's going to make a full-on adventure out of it with us. We're excited about that. keep tabs on us. We'll be updating the socials, where we're going to be, when. If you come across us and you want a official Basepacking Ride Hard Sleep Soft first run of stickers, come see us.